All right, welcome back. This is MDawg, and we are here for yet another episode of our leveling experience. We are here at Winding. I am, let's see, it's 21:36, so it's actually about to be overnight, so that's good to know. I think we're going to go to 99-121. And we're going to do some, especially at night, we're going to be just doing feeder fishing. And if we're going to really try to make a run at some of these, challenges that are left, we are going to need, I was thinking about this between sessions, we are going to need multiple, all three of our feeder rods set up. It's just the way it is. So let me, especially here at night, we're not going to do float fishing at night, most likely, at least not most times. Let me see what size line I want to get here. So we can go 4.6, which technically we could get just as close as possible. So 3.5 unless, yeah, so this has 3.9, might actually be worth it. I think the extra strength, even though this is really cheap line, I think that actually is worth it. Let's go to feeder leaders and see fluorocarbon. Okay, so we can't use any fluorocarbon leaders. Looks like they're mostly out of stock. I'm wondering if I looked at the wrong thing the other day. Oh, we got to start digging, right? Once it's daytime, we might try to float fish for a dace or two. I know there's a dace spot that people have been using today, and I thought it'd be fun to at least check that out, but it's nighttime, so that's not really a thing. And like I said in the last episode, if we're going to make a run at some of these additional New Year's challenges, we're going to need to start fishing, and fishing with a lot of red worms. Maybe some other baits too, but mostly red worms. So let's get our rods in the water, and then we can kind of look at the challenges and see, like, what are the things that we're possibly working on. I think we probably also are going to want to buy some size, maybe 20 and 18 hooks. We're not going to want to use 24 on some of these, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, like 20. Oh, we've got 20s and 18s. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to go red worm. This clip is typically, yeah, 9 or 10, something like that. We're at 99-121. This is where we are on the map. And we're just casting basically like towards that tree or in that area, facing that way. I don't think we want ground bait, but I actually don't have any other sinkers, so we're just going to have to use the... Gonna have to use what we've got for now. Do we already have a fish on? Or is that just not, is that 30-gram weight just not heavy enough? Maybe we did have a fish on. Oh, okay, yeah, it was a fish. I was gonna say, yeah, and that makes sense. It's a river mussel. The way that took off towards the shore, I was really confused about what was going on. Oh, I didn't buy the reel, so we actually need to, didn't buy the bite indicator. I mean, not even sure what I'm doing right now. All right, 18 on this one. Again, red worm. We can go ahead and dig again. So that one doesn't have a bite indicator, so we need to go get a bite indicator. It also doesn't have the right reel, although we can use that reel. It's the same strength, it just has a little less line on there. Okay, let's look at these challenges really quick. All right, what do we have left that we're actually working towards right now? On bottom fishing, potentially a white eye bream using bottom tackle. It's got to be at least 350. The white bream has to be on float, so we're not really working on that. The eyed can be on any tackle. So I guess that's possible that we don't have eyed bait on. That's something we could put on. Okay, blue bream, and it has to be bottom. So what we're really working on is blue bream and white eye. Those are like the two things that most fit in this spot. Now, I don't know that there are white eye here, actually. We may have to look up another spot for white eye. But let's look at something. So I want to show you another. Oh, we've got a fish on this rod without the bite indicator. See how fast we're blowing through these red worms, by the way? We are just going to have to buy red worms. But after we use these up, we'll see how much silver we've earned. Okay, so there's a white bream. Do we ever try to float fish here for white bream? They're best in the morning off a float, but you could get it here. All right, I was going to look at this. It's another resource. There's lots of resources online. And this one is rf4-stats.ru. I will try to remember to post this link. If I don't, you can at least see kind of what it is. All right, so I wanted to look at locations. Let's go to winding, and we're going to look under, for example, the blue bream. All right, 12 baits showing blue bream. We've got redworm, caddisfly. So there you go. We could fish with caddisfly. Now, we don't have algae or caddisfly together for sandwich bait. We don't have algae. Diving beetle we don't have. These are all baits that we just don't have access to yet. There's worm or bloodworm, castor is possible. But it looks like caddisfly is actually a pretty good bait for blue bream. So that's the kind of information that we want. You can try to get that information off of the weeklies list. And frankly, you can get that information, but all right, so let's go ahead and put caddisfly on this one. So if we want to catch a blue bream, redworm is a good choice, but it looks like caddisfly is also a good choice. Oh, there's a Volgazander. So we'll keep redworm on. All right. I also, let me see if I have information about the white bream. What I'm trying to figure, the information I'm looking for is depth. I guess I'm not going to have depth information at this spot in particular. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just try this one. Okay, same thing. Let's look at white bream real quick. Oh, actually, we should look at white eye first. That's the other thing we're trying to catch right now. Again, I'm not sure that this is the best spot for white eye. Okay, white eye, redworm, caddisfly. So very similar to the last one. So redworm, caddisfly in terms of baits that we have. And then white bream, redworm. I think castor works pretty good too, but it does look like redworm is the best according to that resource, that website. All right, so we want, I'll do 24. And yeah, let's do 1.5. Let's just see if we can get a bite on white bream right now, on float. So remember, we need a white bream on float of a certain size. Crayfish, everything coming in. It looks like we're, I mean, I can't tell if we're near the bottom or not, so it might be worth lowering it a little bit to see if that changes anything. Okay, does it specifically say it has to be drifting with the current? That's actually a big deal. White bream, at least 500 grams. It does not say, it does not have to be drifting. So let's do 175. We'll see if that's on the bottom. It looks like it's not. It looks like we're kind of in a little darker, deeper space right here. So let's try 2. Now I know another spot both for white eye bream and for white bream. This is more of the blue bream spot, although this is also a spot where just a lot of different fish are catchable here. And so it seems like this is just a good place to fish at times when we think there's a chance to catch blue bream, basically. All right, is that a nibble? I don't know if it was a nibble or not. It might be dragging on the bottom, which frankly I'm kind of okay with because I want to see. All right, we are getting drifting with the current. Where we want to try to catch the white bream, at least last week, was sort of up here in the corner from the other side. And the other bait that is good, that's good for white eye bream, is the wheat grain, which is why we want to be digging like crazy, because again, even now there's just stuff that we can't fully go for until we have more baits unlocked. I'm not sure if wheat grain is available in the store or not. I think we might have to craft it, but we can check. It may be one that's available. Some of the craftable baits you can buy, but most of them, the only way to get them is crafting them. All right, there's a white bream. I mean, that's not big enough, but that is a white bream. All right, so we're burning through some red worms. We haven't made much silver yet. We're catching a lot of undersized stuff. Hopefully things get a little better though as we get towards 4 or 5 a.m. All right, we'll let it drift a little bit. Such a short line, isn't it? That might be where we should use the other float rod to get a little bit longer pull on it. So it looks like it might be dragging on the bottom, although we're not getting the touching the bottom signal. So we could go to like 2.1 just to make sure we're close to the bottom, but I think we are. I think that's why it's bouncing like that. All right, this is on the red worm. There's a white bream. Maybe we'll get a lucky cafe order with some of these non-marker fish. Oh, we can dig. Let's definitely dig when we can. Apparently I just went slightly too soon there on the feeder. It messed the bite up. Okay. I don't want to have too big a line. Let's see. The other place for blue bream is 120, 120, of course. And that's probably where we would try the next night. This has been a little disappointing, even when we had 3 feeders on, just a little too slow. But then again, some people... Ooh, here's a new spot. I don't know that I've tried this spot recently. 99 108. Looks like they caught blue bream and a white eye there. And it looks like it was on redworm. All right, here is the... Oh! Somebody did catch a white bream here, actually. All right, so they did 30-40% cast from here, and our cast is so pathetic. And they were using 1.8 depth. They were using bark beetle plus bloodworm. Bark beetle plus bloodworm. Okay, clearly that's not far enough. I don't have those yet, right? Oh, we do have bloodworm. Do we try bloodworm? I still feel like redworm might work better. I guess I was wrong. I mean, what is this, 1.8? There's a white bream. Ooh, fish was on the whole time? All right, that one's not big enough. That was on bloodworm though. All right, so we can tell that's on the bottom. It's just too close to shore though, right? Is that just far enough? No, that's coming into shore as well. Like, I assume it has to be just past. Oh yeah, it's got it like more out in the middle. That was a bite. Yeah, it's hard not having the ability for this just to be a little longer. Feels very restrictive compared to what I'm used to using. This feels very restrictive. All right, so we're a little deeper than what was recommended, but I think this just looks a little bit better for us because it gives us a little bit longer to watch the float and have a chance of catching a bite. So the blue bream we're trying to catch is very rare, and we need a decent size one at that. So I mean, this is, again, that's why I was saying this is something we're going to have to work on a lot. Okay, fish on. There's a chance. All right. I mean, that's the fish, right? We just got to find a big one. We're catching so many undersized nace. I mean, so many. perch. All right, where was that day spot that I wanted to try? Oh, same place. So 99, 108, and then 120, 120 are kind of the two spots that I want us to try right now. Wait. Thought that had a fish on it. All right, so let's relocate. All right, we do have a fish on this. Could it be? Oh. All right, so let's relocate to 99, 108. What did we need? Well, for third feeder, we needed the bite indicator. And I kind of want to get a couple of sinkers so that we don't have to have our cages, feeder cages out there when we're not using ground bait. And on the river, none of the ground bait that we can make at least is probably worth using. I mean, it may not hurt anything, but I just don't know that it's worth having it on. Even though we do need to continue to be making ground bait to level it up. I also think we're at the point, even though we're starving for silver, it's probably worth buying bread and crafting bread while we're digging and leveling up bait harvesting a little bit faster. That's really going to be holding us back in a lot of ways, the ability to make some of these advanced baits. So I think that's something we want to look at doing. None of this looks like stuff that we are catching at the moment. Those are some pretty terrible cafe orders, actually. So we need a bite indicator, and we want a couple of sinkers just for the option, and that's it. Is there any other baits? Oh, I was going to look what baits are available. So we don't have maggots. We should have maggots at least as an option. How many bloodworms do we have? That's fine for right this second. We were going to try bark beetle larvae, but they're sold out pretty far down. We only have 17 of those. We need to get some more casters. Grasshoppers for chub, but we're not there yet. But what was I wanting to look at? Oh, wheat seeds. We can get wheat seeds. So I'm going to grab some of those for the white eyes. And yeah, I think we're good. All right, so let's go to 99, 108. This is actually where I caught the pike on my main account. But this person is also doing both feeder and float fishing here, or different people are doing both feeder and float fishing here. So this looks like a pretty good spot at the moment. And we should be coming up to it shortly here. All right, so right here. All right, so let me see where they're putting their feeder. Clip 10. I'm not sure about where they have their feeder though. It just doesn't say. Their pike fishing is, as expected, is at an angle. But can I do this and still feel comfortable to float fish off the end of this? Let's see, during the day here, what are we even thinking that we're gonna catch? Well, I'm gonna do an 11 clip because we're actually backing up just a little bit with this one. All right. 18, and we actually want caster. Oh, interesting. They call the Nace here too. There is so much going on in this one spot. Now Nace might be, this actually might be a nighttime fish. I think we need to switch to Dace, but I just was trying to recreate what they're doing here. Because on Dace, we're going to be using like a, oh, it looks like for Dace, for Nace, they were maybe casting down here where it's a little bit deeper. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah. Okay, that is a Nace. And that was on the same bait we've got on the float. So that kind of makes sense. This is so restrictive. Let me change the line. Does this make it any less restrictive? I don't think so. I think it's just, is it the length? Maybe we need a 6 meter length. All right, so we're gonna go back to caster. We're gonna go way up to like 30, maybe 5, 38, something like that. We're hoping to see a Dace here. And this isn't even something we need for a challenge. This is more just because I wanted to try it because I saw that somebody was catching them here. I may have to take the bells off of those feeder rods while we're standing so close to the end of them. So we have size 18 hook with caster, trying to find the Dace. Also have pretty small line on there, 3.1 line. Dace do seem to be a little sensitive to line diameter. It's not the ideal time of day. I mean, it shouldn't be impossible to find a bite right now, but obviously in the morning and then the late afternoon is going to be a little more active, but we could go to a size 20 hook just to see. That would open us up more to like the possibility of catching bleak as well. Okay. I want to try something with these feeders. Let's don't get snagged. All right, so first of all, let's keep redworm actually on both. And let's cast it more this way. We'll see. I don't know if that's the way to go or not, but the thing about this dace, if we could catch a couple of dace, it can actually, at least we make a little bit of silver with all of this. But I guess it's, I feel like we focus on these challenges, experimenting with different spots or whatever. We do slow way down in comparison if we were really focused on, let's just get efficient silver and XP. But that's fine. I mean, that's part of the fun of going for these challenges. We just have to remember that. We're going to be going a lot slower on earning silver right now. All right, so let's go to a 20. And just for a minute, let's go to Bloodworm. I'm going to look at this resource and locations, winding, fish, dace, 5 baits. Oh, this is not one of them. Caster, fly, bark beetle. Those are the only 3 solo baits, at least of people that have reported through this website. I don't know. Let's see. How does this... So this is how this website works apparently. The data on this, on the caught record fish, is obtained through the official website rf4game.com records. The database is updated every 10 minutes. During the update, only newfound records are added. rf4game.com/records. And where does that take us? So I didn't know that they had... this on the actual website. So I go to that website and you can actually pull up, for example, the weekly tables. It's on other right now. So that's how this this website actually is pulling from there. That's cool. That is cool. And again, you know, there might be ways in which that's not like perfect information, but that is cool that it exists. Okay, again, this just feels really slow. We're not getting the dace anyway. Next on the list to at least try, so we can start to have an idea of what's working where, was going to be 120, 120. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, 120, 120 is not only where the blue bream, but it's also where the white eye was caught, right? I think that is correct. But I definitely know that's where people have been catching blue bream. I think that's the main blue bream spot, really. 120, 120, clip 9. Yeah, towards that tree in the water. I think I've also seen people using like maybe clip 12 or something, but anyway. All right, let's get our feeders in. All right, let's go 18. No, let's do 20 with our wheat seeds. This is just sort of a test to see. Wheat seeds are pretty much going to catch. Now, I think they could catch eyed, but mostly the idea is white eye bream. And more because I'm just curious than anything else. I'm going to also put this bait in, the caddisfly. That way I can look at a couple things real quick. All right, so this person was at, I can't tell. Quality is so bad. All right, so they've got a size 10 hook and red worm. Oh, there's a chub, by the way. Size 10 hook, red worm. I can tell that. Some kind of crazy ground bait. Oh, that's funny. They're actually at the spot where we started. Okay, and this is at night. This is right in the beginning of the evening, like at 11 p.m. Sorry, this is a little video somebody posted on VK. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, so they're back up in this F3 kind of area with red worm, which I'm sure we'll end up there again. At least we were catching some fish. I think this is on wheat seed, right? So it was a nace on wheat seed. Okay, so they caught a white-eye bream at that spot where we were at. It was about at 11:30 p.m. on redworm, for what it's worth. How long have I had us up there, by the way? I guess for a long time now. Okay, so for what it's worth, they also are now float fishing at that same spot, except they're casting the float sort of over to the left farther, and I can tell they're at 1.9 meter depth. So I don't know if they're about to show getting a white bream in that spot. It's like 3 in the morning now on their video. They're not catching a whole lot. They've caught their white-eye bream on redworm. And now I assume they're going for... All right, so this is the redworm. So all 3 baits here where we're fishing right now at 120, 120, all 3 baits have caught something, even though this is the slowest point of the day. All right, got a little gudgeon on feeder. Kind of seems like yeah, there are other baits you can use to try to target this or that, but a lot of them, redworm is catching a lot of it. What is going on with this? Another chub, small chub maybe? Oh no, look at this nace. Healthy nace. Thought there was a really small fish on that middle line, but I guess not. Yeah, so he's got redworm on the float, and it took a long time, but he's finally getting a nibble on the float, cast in this weird position at 1.9 depth. I think we could probably recreate that. Oh, he got a gibble carp though. I guess that's not what he's going for. All right, so nibble on the red worm again. Very small. What do we got here? A little rough. We know about the rough, don't we? Well, we need that red worm. We got one piece of it though. We've got 48. I think we had 60 before we started fishing with them. That's a regular bream on the wheat seed. We are hoping for white eye. An occasional white eye is what we're hoping for. Oh, it's brutal. Yeah, so that spot that we started at, as I'm watching this other person trying to figure out some stuff at this spot here at F3, like, yeah, they are eventually being patient enough to get some of the fish they're going for, but it looks like for them a very slow bite rate, and it's kind of a miserable way to go about it. But you know, for some of these fish, you're just trying to get it, hoping for the best. All right, I'm going to switch these to, especially this, I'm going to switch to 15 clip. I think especially for the blue bream. I don't know about the white eye, but the blue bream, I think we have just as good a chance, if not better, a little bit farther out. So let's try that. Same with the, oh, there's a white bream. I'm going to move them all to 15, at least for a bit here. See what this seems like. All right, we are at camp, so this would be a good time to craft more tea. If we, you know, at some point, if we're going to fish down here, we could do some tea. We are getting really hungry down here. Eat a little bit of bread maybe. Unless we make it all into, bread. Oh, the other thing we could craft is a few potatoes. If we don't want to always be starving, we could get some potatoes going as well. We do have free food. I just don't want to walk all the way up to camp right now. We're already at 55 minutes, so we're not going to be fishing for that much longer anyway. All right, first fish at the new clip. Looks like a roach. Yeah. That was on red worm. That was on the catch everything bait. The reason why we're getting hungry so fast, I'm not sure if I've said this on this leveling series, but it's because we're digging so much. You do get hungry as you dig. Someone in chat just caught a 273 gram blue bream. On redworm, we got an ace. So we obviously, with the time, we're not going to fish through the night here, but I thought we'd fish until night. See right here at the end if anything interesting comes in that might give us hope that this is a spot worth fishing at for some of these challenges. So we are hitting the white bream. We've hit white bream. I mean, the white bream are pretty available in several spots. But trying to get the white eye or the blue is a different story. I don't remember. It looks like there just hasn't been a super recent post about white eyes as I'm looking at this. So let me look on that other guide that I usually am using. So where's the white eye? Stage 5.1. So let's see if this guide says anything. Now this guide came out days ago at this point, so pretty out of it's, you know, some of these spots have changed a little bit. So this person suggests in this guide using a size 8 hook, which is big. Let me be honest, it's very big, with redworm at that 99-121 spot, which is the spot that we kind of started at when we got to winding today. So again, I'm just not sure. That may be our best bet, or it could be that things have changed since then. It's just a big roach. Not a surprise on caddisfly that we'd be seeing caddisfly or redworm. We'd be seeing some roach pull in. All right, we're just gonna give it a couple more minutes here. So yeah, 99-121. All right, pretty good sized fish here on wheat seeds. So I assume this is not a white eye. This might be like an eyed or something like that. Maybe a bream. Wow. Yeah, that's a bream, right? Yeah, 1.2 bream. That's a nice bream. It's gonna be a little perch. It's pretty late for a perch, but by the way, we're at 22.7 on bottom fishing, which is nice. I do like that Paternoster opens up at 25, and at that point we can maybe even be a little bit more effective with the use of ground bait in some situations. All right, here we go. Caddisfly, we've got a little rough. Well, I mean, this spot is a little bit more active at least. I mean, we're still not making much silver because the amount of non-markers we're catching. But at least at night, this seems like a relatively reasonable option based on the different bream species we're catching. And there's an eyed. So we do need an eyed for one of the challenges, I believe. And it can be on anything. It just has to be here at Winding. Catch an eyed. And that's stage 5-3. This guide recommends... Wow, they're doing it on float though. They actually recommend dung beetle, sandwich bait, large one hook. But I don't know. It doesn't say that you have to do float, unless I misread it. Any rod. So I mean, I typically bite fine on feeders. Sometimes you catch them good on spin fishing too, so I don't know that we have to float that one. All right, let's try to get one more fish here, I guess, and then we'll start heading back to camp. So somebody did just catch a blue bream in chat. It probably was at this spot. Although this piney steep area is pretty big. But, I mean, I think this is a pretty well-known spot to go for blue bream at the moment. All right, looks like we're gonna get another fish on redworm and another fish on wheat seeds. So on redworm, wide-eye bream, so there you go. Now, what size do we need? I'm gonna put this back in just while we're looking at this, because that's exciting. So gotta remember this, wide-eye bream, easier to catch at night. We did get one in this spot. We just need it to be 350 grams, which that was 204. I know that seems like a long way away, but actually that's promising that our first one was that size. And then on wheat here, we also got a wide-eye bream, which is why we use wheat. So now, you know, potentially if we were gonna stay, we go up in hook size a little bit, see if we can do it again. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it like that so I can remember. So again, I think this is our spot. This is definitely our nighttime spot. We have a small chance at wide-eye bream and at blue bream. It's very cool. And in this spot, we're not very far from where I thought the blue bream spot was, which it might not be anymore, or there just might be a lot of blue bream spots. And I don't know how deep. I'd have to look back in notes to see if I can figure out how deep I was. But I'm pretty sure I caught my white bream on my main account for this challenge right over here. And it's going to be hard because Like this spot might be tough because I'm pretty sure I did it. So, okay, 1.8 might be a little too far down, right? But I'm pretty sure I did it with casting farther from there. It seems like I remember to get a good result, you needed to get a little bit farther out. So 1.8 is just sitting there. Yeah, so this is actually in a completely different spot called the Crayfish Shallows. So different people here. 1.6, and we didn't get it. We got it even, you know, less far out that time, but it's kind of just dragging along the bottom, which might be the way to do it, frankly. And just hope that the right white bream gets on. But to me, the easiest time to catch a white bream, a big white bream, even a white bream trophy, which is what I did on my main account for this challenge, is just come back to this spot or a healthy white bream spot about 5 a.m., between 5 and 8 a.m. I think you're most likely to see the really big ones. So again, next time we'll have to, if we're fishing in that other spot anyway, you know, maybe we can jump over here just for a minute, take one pole out of the water, and just for a minute come try to snag the white bream. I'm not as worried about the white bream and the nace, not because they're easy. The nace especially could be very tricky. For some people it's been a long process trying to get it. I'm just, I think what's, you know, what can be really hard is that blue bream, and to a lesser extent the white-eye bream. So and we've done a lot of float fishing, so I was going to try to focus us on these feeder fishing tasks, but they are hard, and we need to make sure we're still making silver because we need to be leveling bait harvesting big time. And we're down to 9 silver, and frankly, all of the fishing we did in this episode, we made barely any silver. So we may have to sort of do breaks from the challenges and just go make money off of cafe orders and such. I mean, this is 43 silver. It's actually a little better than I was afraid of, but still, it's not great. We did get the roach order, so it's probably better. So that's 7.4. That eyed order is not hard. Bleak, as you know, we could do this bleak order in our sleep. So, you know, this kind of stuff, if we pay attention to these, we've just got to still make silver to move forward. So we ended up, you know, about 50 silver. Let's get our free food and dig one more time. And if nothing else, we'll see if they have tea in stock. Yeah, so let's get a couple of tea. Let's get a good bit of bread to craft. And then after we've crafted bread and dug some more, let's do some, when we craft the tea, we'll also craft just a few potatoes, just so that we're not always starving, because that's just kind of annoying. Bowl of fish soup, good way to, you know, it fills up your hunger. But when we're this low level account, it's just frankly, everything just feels too expensive to actually spend money on. So, all right, so there we have it. Another episode in the books. We've learned some things. We've got different spots we can try. Maybe we do want to catch some bleak, especially if we notice a cafe order, kind of get that done to make some silver. And then in particular at night, we go back to that spot we were at, try to get lucky on the white eye and the blue bream, try to hit the white bream. We've got some fun things ahead of us. But for now, we are level 12 and a quarter almost, and slowly plugging away at these challenges. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Tight lines, everybody.